It is evening, and the lights are flickering in the lanterns around the room, letting out a soft, warm light. A pan of soup is gently simmering on the hob, and the room is filled with its delicious smell, as well as the scent of the herbs and spices that have been thoughtfully gathered and are hanging all along the kitchen walls and standing in pots on the countertops. You are sitting with Eva, a friend of yours who also happens to be a witch, at her dining room table. The chair is cushioned and surprisingly comfortable, as you often find dining chairs to be too hard for your back. Eva has medium-length dark hair, warm brown eyes, and a very welcoming smile. She's wearing a white shirt underneath denim dungarees, and a pastel blue scarf is wrapped loosely around her neck. You've come to her forest hut today because she asked for your help in making 3 special potions. "Could you pass me that spoon, please?" she asks you, looking up from what she's been doing. You search around on the table for a moment and then hand her the teaspoon which is near to you. "Thank you. I'm just going to stir this mixture so that it doesn't get lumpy." You sit and watch her mix the green liquid in the clear bowl, and then she sets it on the Bunsen burner until it starts to ripple and bubble. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" she says with a smile, as you both watch the bubbles appearing on the surface. You have to agree with her, especially because the green is such a deep, rich color. It reminds you of the fir trees growing just outside this hut. But there's something you still need to ask. "Which potion is this, Eva?" "Oh, I'm so sorry," she says. "I totally forgot. This is a potion that cures all aches and pains, even ones that you've had for years." "Wow, that's amazing. I actually have a pain in my back that keeps coming back, even though I've tried a few things to get rid of it." "I know, you told me about that before," Eva says, turning the heat down just a little bit. "I wanted to make this potion today to make you feel better." You continue watching the potion gently bubbling over the flame for another minute or two, and then Eva takes the bowl off the stand and pours its contents into a bottle. "We need to leave this to cool for a few minutes. It's still too hot to drink, but you can taste it afterwards to heal your pain." Eva sets the bottle to the side, and then gets up and walks over to the kitchen counter. She stirs the soup on the hob, humming quietly to herself as she does so. It's a happy little tune, and you're sure you've heard it somewhere before, but you can't quite remember its name. Then she picks up an armful of jars from the side and brings them back over to the table. "Now we're going to make a very popular potion," she says as she unlatches the lids of some of the jars. "It's a love potion, but I altered it just a little bit to make it even better than the standard recipe." "A love potion," you say, peering forward to look at the contents of all of the jars. "I bet you get asked to make that one a lot." "Oh, I do," she smiles to herself. "But I'm confident that my recipe is better than all of the others, and I promise I'm not saying that to brag. You see, an ordinary love potion is meant to be drunk by another person so that they fall in love with us the moment they see us, but this one is different. Instead, it needs to be drunk by the person who wants to find love, and from the moment they drink it." She leans forward as though it's a deep secret that only you are allowed to hear. "They're filled with such a deep feeling of love for themselves that other people can't help but fall in love with them." "That's a really clever idea," you say, watching her crushing a vanilla pod with a pestle and mortar. "But why does that make them so irresistible?" "Ah yes," she says, adding in a pinch of rosemary. "I forgot that you're not a witch as well. We can see things that others can't, at least not consciously. We can tell which people love themselves because their cheeks have a rosy glow, their eyes sparkle beautifully, and the love they carry with them shines out from every pore of their skin. It's very beautiful indeed, and even though ordinary people can't see it like we do, They still sense it, and it's very attractive to them. She continues mixing the ingredients in the mortar, and you wonder what the world must look like to a witch, whose eyes are attuned to clearly seeing all of the miracles that ordinary people can only sense subconsciously. Now we need some star anise. She holds the jar out to you. Would you like to pick one? You take the jar from her and look inside. It is half full of star anise, and you shake the jar ever so slightly to get a better look at the stars that aren't on top. They make a nice rustling sound as they shift about and clink against the glass walls of the jar. This one, you say after a few moments, and hand her the individual star. It's not the biggest, but I think it looks the nicest. Eva holds it up to the light and examines it carefully. I think you're right. With my witch's eyes, I can see that it's even sparkling slightly. It'll be perfect for this potion. You made a great choice. She adds it into the mortar, and the crinkles that it makes when she mixes it with the pestle sound really pleasant to you. The next part is optional, she explains as she pushes forward 2 of the jars that she brought over from the kitchen counter. This is just to flavor it to make it taste better. You can choose, either orange blossom or cherry blossom, whichever you prefer. She smiles and taps her fingers against the jars as she waits for your answer. You prefer orange blossom? Great! That's what I would have chosen too. It's a really beautiful flavor. She pushes the other jar to the side and opens the jar with the orange blossom in it, taking out a few sprigs and adding it to her mixture. Would you like to mix it for me while I prepare our soup? It should be ready now. Of course, you reply, eager to actually stir the mixture for yourself. I want to help. Thank you so much. You just need to mix it all a bit more in the mortar and then pour it into the clear bowl, add some water and stir it gently. She gets up to sort out the soup and you move over to where she had been sitting. The pestle and mortar are made of a very dark stone, and when you pick up the mortar, it's a bit heavier than you expected. The herbs and blossom are all mixed together, crushed into small pieces. Holding onto the side of the mortar, you start to lightly tap the mixture with the rounded end of the pestle, slowly breaking them down until they reach a more powder-like consistency. Unsure of whether you should stop now, you turn around to ask Eva. Is this all right? You say, holding up the mortar to show her. She's giving the soup a final stir. That's great, she says. Thank you for doing that for me. Now you just need to put it in the bowl and add some water. The clear bowl that the first potion was boiled in seems to be completely free of any remnants of that potion. It looks as clean as if it hadn't even been used. As you carefully scoop in the mixture from the mortar, you wonder if the bowl is enchanted so that it cleans itself after being used. You lightly scrape around the mortar with a spoon to make sure that as much of the mixture as possible ends up in the bowl, and then you pour in some water from the jug on the table. The mix of powder and herbs separates and swirls around in the water, and you stir it gently with the spoon just as Eva asked. You find it strangely relaxing to make a little black-brown whirlpool as your spoon sends the herbs spiraling round and round. A few times you stop, letting the whirlpool slowly unravel and the water settle once more before you start stirring again. There has always been something about water, the way it moves and the sounds it makes, which you found really soothing. After a few minutes, Eva comes back over to the table, with 2 bowls of soup in her hands, and lays them down, then brings over 2 glasses of water. Oh wow, that looks really good, she says when she sees the bowl you've been stirring. I couldn't have done it better myself. Are you sure you're not secretly a witch too? Oh, I just did my best, you laugh. The soup smells delicious. Thank you, I really hope you like it. This is one of my favorite soups. It's made from pumpkins. Let me just put the bowl on the Bunsen burner, and then it can boil while we eat. She does this and sets the flame on low, and then sits down, but she suddenly stands back up again. I almost forgot. I wanted you to try a bit of the healing potion in your water so that you feel better. The taste can be a little bitter, so it's best if you drink it diluted like this. As she says this, she picks up the bottle that had been left to cool and pours a little bit into your drink. It merges with the water, which slowly takes on a pale green colour. Bon appetit, she says, and you respond likewise. You take a spoonful of the soup, blow on it very lightly, and then taste it. It's very creamy and flavourful, not too spicy, just the right mixture of everything. It's delicious. You eat a few more spoonfuls, all the while looking at the potion drink which is sitting to the right of you. Eventually, curiosity overcomes you and you just have to give it a try. You take a small sip at first, slightly apprehensive about the flavour and how it might make you feel. It tastes a bit like medicine, but it's not overpowering, and you can easily drink it as you would any other drink with a meal. It doesn't seem to have an effect at first, but as you finish your bowl of soup and down the remnants in the glass, you slowly begin to feel your backache fading away, almost as though someone was wiping it away softly with some kind of magic cloth. The ache slowly becomes duller and less noticeable until you can't even feel it anymore. That's so amazing, you say, putting a hand on your back where the ache used to be. I don't feel any pain in my back anymore. Eva smiles at you with her warm, kind smile. I'm so pleased it went away so quickly for you. Sometimes it can take longer if you drink the potion diluted, but it seems it worked very well this time. Did you enjoy the soup? Oh, yes, thank you. It was really nice. It's my pleasure to cook for you, she says as she takes the bowls back over to the counter and puts them in the sink. I don't have visitors often, and you're such a good friend to me. Back at the table, she adjusts the flame on the Bunsen burner. And this is also boiling very nicely, she says. There's just one thing left to add. With that, she pulls out a little bag from her pocket, opens it, and sprinkles a kind of glittery powder into the bowl. It seems to tinkle like a bell when she does so, and it turns the whole mixture a deep fuchsia pink. This is fairy dust, a gift from my friend. I have lots of friends among the forest fairies. She smiles at you as you look at her in amazement. This is the last physical ingredient, but there's still one more thing we need to do before the potion is ready to use. She gestures to you to come and stand with her, and you do so, both leaning over the bowl ever so slightly. We need to say 3 loving sentences over it in order for it to be really potent, so please repeat these sentences after me. I lovingly accept all that I am, all that I ever have been, and all that I ever will be. I am too big a gift to the world to waste my time on worry, self-doubt, or complacency. I am worthy of love, joy, and kindness. No sooner has the final word left your lips than the potion in the bowl starts to ring again like a bell, and the beautiful scent of orange blossom arises from it, filling the air around you. The atmosphere in the room feels softer almost immediately, and your cheeks slowly become warmer. Eva takes a deep breath in, with a very contented smile on her face. I always love it when this one is ready. It changes everything for the better. Eva takes a wide-necked bottle and lays a square piece of soft white cloth over it, securing it around the neck with a band. Then she takes the bowl off the heat and slowly pours the contents over the bottle. The liquid fills up the bottle, while the herbs and any remaining lumps of powder are caught by the cloth, so that the potion will be much easier to drink. You help Eva to remove the cloth from the bottle once all of the liquid has been poured in, and carry it over to the sink to rinse it away. You make sure that all of the colour is washed out so that the cloth isn't stained by the pink residue of the potion. and then wring it out and hang it over the tap to dry. We will need that again for the last potion, Eva says to you, but it doesn't matter if it's going to be a bit damp. The important thing is that it's clean. She pushes the bottle with the love potion to the side, and you've moved back over to the table, intrigued to find out what the final potion is going to be. This isn't one that I make very often, Eva tells you as she pours some cocoa powder into the bowl. It's only reserved for very special people. You feel really honored to know that she holds you in such high regard. Eva chooses her friends carefully, only spending time with people whom she can trust not to tell the world about her magical knowledge, or to use it in a negative or greedy way. She starts to peel an orange and puts some bits of the peel into the bowl, and the rest she leaves on the table. You can eat this if you like, she says, handing it to you. I always find oranges very refreshing, and they're full of vitamins that are really good for you. Just let me have one segment. She winks, taking a piece before handing the rest over to you. She eats it quickly while sprinkling different spices into the bowl, so quickly that you don't even notice which ones she's using. It's clearly a recipe she knows well. You eat the rest of the orange, watching her pour in some caramel and what looks like sugar as well. The orange is really juicy and delicious, and the taste lingers on your tongue once it's all gone, that familiar citrusy flavor. Which potion is this? You ask as Eva gives you a spoon to stir with. Oh, I forgot again. Sorry, I just get so caught up in making it that I forget to explain things sometimes. I just enjoy it so much. This potion is the liquid luck. It's said to bring you happiness and luck wherever you go, whatever you choose to do. Just 3 drops of this are meant to last you a lifetime. You look closely at the contents of the bowl, and to you it looks like the preparation for some kind of sweet dessert, rather than a potion that is as powerful as she says. You start to mix it all with the spoon, making sure that the caramel doesn't stick to the sides of the bowl, and that the sugar and cocoa powder are well mixed in with the rest of it all. Just 3 more ingredients, Eva says, leaning over you slightly. She drops a handful of white, fragrant petals into the bowl, which you think are jasmine petals. She also pours in a little bit of water from the jug on the table, and then picks up a very small bottle. It has a light green, shimmering liquid inside, and there is a label on the bottle written in a script that you have never seen before, and have no idea what it could be. You ask Eva, sensing already that whatever is in the bottle wasn't made by human hands. You're right, she says with a smile. This is a bottle of dream energizer. I've heard it's very difficult to make because it uses a lot of rare ingredients, and it can only be mixed and boiled on the winter solstice, and then left to bathe in the light of the sunrise on the summer solstice. When you drink this, it empowers all of your hopes and dreams with a special energy and potency, so they start to become your reality without you having to put in much effort at all. She taps the bottle 7 times and lets 7 drops of the pastel green dream energizer fall into the bowl. Each individual particle of the dream energizer seems to shine and beam brilliantly, like a promise of good things to come. My fairy friends gave it to me as a gift for my birthday. She smiles as she puts the stopper back in the bottle. I'm so grateful that they trusted me with something so precious. You shake your head as you start to stir the new contents of the bowl, as you can't think of anyone with a kinder and more trustworthy heart than Eva, who only ever tries to use her knowledge to help others, including you. To your amazement, the sparkly property of the dream energizer spreads to the rest of the bowl's contents as you mix it together, as though each little drop contained an entire galaxy of tiny stars, and by stirring them you've allowed them to ooze out into the bowl. After a minute or 2 of gentle stirring, the bowl is shining like a clear night sky. Eva smiles proudly. You're really good at this. I'm sure you have some magical abilities yourself that you're not aware of. She takes the brilliant bowl and puts it on the Bunsen burner for the final time, so this last potion can boil. To your surprise, it makes a slight fizzing sound from the moment it is placed over the flame, and this gradually gets louder and louder. It's just the dream energizer being activated by the heat, nothing to worry about. Eva smiles at you, noticing that you looked a bit concerned. Would you like to try the love potion now? It will definitely be cool enough to drink. Of course, you say, as you're really excited to try this one. You watch her pour a small amount of the pinkish potion into your glass, and she hands it over to you. She seems just as excited as you are. You lift up the glass and smell the same orange blossom scent as before, although this time it seems a little richer somehow, like the cooling down process has improved it. You raise the glass to your lips and take a small sip. It's delicious and strangely warming, although the liquid itself is no longer warm. You swallow and then finish what's left in the glass, but before you have even put it back down on the table, you can feel your whole body getting warmer, as though you've just got into a freshly made bath. Slowly you start to feel so happy and proud to be you, and this gives your stomach a fluttery feeling, the same feeling you get when you're really looking forward to something. Your chest and the tops of your arms feel particularly warm, as though someone has wrapped their arms around you and is giving you a big, gentle hug. You can't help but smile. Just a little smile at first, but it stretches until you're beaming from ear to ear. You can't remember ever feeling so good before. I can see that it's working already, Eva says with a contented smile of her own. You look so radiant and happy. My potions are taking effect really quickly today. I must be getting better at it. Or maybe it's all of the wonderful help you've given me. I can't believe how happy I feel, Eva, you tell her, clapping your hands together. It's like all of my problems have just disappeared. I feel like I could do anything now. It's not that your problems have disappeared, Eva explains to you as she starts to put away some of the ingredients from the table. It's just that you've learned not to let them affect your view of yourself. Having something bad happen to you doesn't make you any less of a wonderful person, and going through a difficult time doesn't stop you from deserving to be happy. You help her to clear the table. It's easy to see where the ingredients came from, because there are spaces in the cupboards and on the kitchen counter where the spice jars are lined up against the wall. When everything has been put away, Eva returns to the Bunsen burner for the final time and turns off the heat. You still feel like you could walk on air because you're so excited to see what you'll accomplish from now on. It's like the early stages of a crush, when you see a person's wonderful qualities and everything that makes them special, but you're feeling those waves of love towards yourself. You realize that you've done really well to get to where you are today. You realize that your body is amazing to do all of the things that it does for you every day. You realize that you have no regrets because you were meant to be the wonderful person you are now. Eva plucks out the petals and the orange peel from the luck potion, and then pours this into another glass bottle, and it makes a sound like sand as it hits the bottom of the bottle and fills it up. It is a beautiful, twinkly golden color. There is still a bit of the potion left in the bowl, and she pours this into a tiny bottle, no bigger than your thumb. I want to give you this bottle to take home with you, Eva says, putting the bowl in the sink with the other dishes. I know I said that 3 drops are enough to last a lifetime, but I want to give you that extra special boost. Thank you so much, you say, completely overwhelmed by your lovely friend's kindness towards you. It's just my way of showing my appreciation for all the wonderful times we've spent together, because I'm so grateful for your friendship, she says, starting to wash up. You both stand by the sink, talking about your plans for the future as you dry up the dishes that she has washed. Together you make a great team, and you get everything cleaned and put away very quickly so the room is nice and tidy again. I think you'll start to get lots of compliments now that you've drunk that love potion, and you'll soon meet a wonderful person who will be everything you could hope for in a partner. Much sooner than you think. One time I even gave some of that potion to a woman who thought that you would never find true love, because she'd always been overlooked in favor of other people, and every relationship she'd had ended unhappily. But would you believe it? She drank the potion, walked out of my little cottage to go home, and on the way to her home she came across a man who needed help fixing his bicycle, as he'd got a nail stuck in one of the tires. She knew just where to take it, so she helped him to carry it to the bike shop in the town. They talked along the way and got on very well with each other. That was 6 years ago, and they've been together very happily ever since. I even went to their wedding. If Eva had told you this lovely story before you'd drunk the love potion, you would have been happy for the couple, but you would never have believed it would happen to you. Now, however, the magic of the potion makes such a happy tale as this seem very possible for you. It's an exciting prospect. Eva picks up the larger bottle with the luck potion, feels the glass, smiles and puts a stopper on it. She does the same with the tiny thumb-sized bottle. It's not hot anymore, so you can drink this whenever you want to. My advice would be not to drink it all at once, but to just take a bit, and then keep the bottle in a special place in case you ever feel like you need a little boost, or want to share it with someone else. She hands it to you, and you hold it tightly like it's a very precious treasure. You and Eva chat for a little bit longer, and then you hug each other at the door when you decide to head home. Thank you so much for coming round today. It was so lovely to spend time with you, and I'm so grateful for your help. You say your goodbyes and decide to meet up again soon, and then you start walking through the forest. You know the way, and although it's dark, Eva has assured you that the forest fairies are always keeping an eye on her friends to make sure they find their way in and out safely. You've been walking for several minutes before you remember the bottle in your hand, and you look down at it. Even though there is no light shining on it, it is glowing brightly, like a tiny piece of the sun. It's very striking. You pull out the stopper and take the tiniest of sips from the bottle, just as Eva told you to. It fizzes and crackles on your tongue, and it makes your entire body tingle with happiness and enthusiasm as you swallow and let it sink in. You know that everything is going to be all right, and that you have so many exciting things to experience starting from now. It's like you're starting a completely new life, reborn like a brilliant phoenix to find your joy. You emerge from the forest, and you see that the village you live in is framed by a glittering ceiling of sparkling stars. One of them is a shooting star, gliding across the night sky just for you. You close your eyes and make a wish, wishing for your heart's desire, safe in the knowledge that it will come true and that you deserve it. You can feel it manifesting already, as every fiber of your being is tingling. You open your eyes and take a deep breath, inhaling the beautiful night air and the smell of the grass and the pine trees. And then you continue walking in the direction of home, under the gentle protection of this silent, starry sky.